Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Great to be learning with you once again. Thank you for everything you do in the way of building up your self-reliance, your well-being, your health and self-mastery, and service in your own special ways, seen and unseen, for all. At this time, we'll have a presentation entitled Mystical Pantheism. The expanding comprehension and realization of the divine and the universal intelligence are unique to each person's quest. One of the conceptions pertaining to the divine that can be extremely helpful to the aspirant is that of mystical pantheism. We will examine this concept, its firsthand experience, and its relevance to our evolvement and mystical journey. And to assist with that process, I'll draw up now a slide for you to experience an earlier work of art. The work of art is entitled Tatterskill Clove. It's by the renowned Hudson River School artist, Harriet Canny Peel, and it's dated from 1858. I know some of you have loved hiking in the Hudson River area and the Tatterskill Falls and the Tatterskill Clove, one of the very beautiful places on Earth. In this work of art, if you have any knowledge of botany, of geology, geomorphology, meteorology, chemistry, physics, and so forth, you can add to all more into the insights of this wonder. We see the beautiful foreground of the rock formations, the very luxuriant browns as suggested in the color of the water, but also its clarity moving down the mountain. We see the moss in the foreground. These things are very much striking to us, and then the boulders in the moving from the foreground to the midground. Then there's also the high jutting part of the rock here. This tree in a way leaning out that helps guide us and vaults us from the midground into the background, and the various layers of woods as we see increasingly bathed in the light. We know from this time in the United States that there was various spiritual movements, and one that was very profoundly impacting the Hudson River School and later developments in the Luminous School is that of New England transcendentalism. I know many of you are very well versed in it and think very well of it, and it's very relevant to our topic of mystical pantheism. Various renowned figures of New England transcendentalism are, of course, Margaret Fuller or Elizabeth Peabody or Mary Moody Emerson or Louisa May Alcott. And each was a unique thinker in their own right, in their own creativity. And they had a strong impact on the Hudson River School and the Luminous painters of 19th century United States. But in New England transcendentalism is closely associated with pantheism because there was a core view in this philosophical movement that the divine or God is present in all of nature. Essentially viewing the natural world, which we are in fact doing and seeing this work of art, is a manifestation of the divine. And the artist has worked, helped develop that as we gaze on this work. These works of the Hudson River are ones that behoove us. We can take time with them. The effect will build. In a way, we'll move deeper and deeper into the inspiration of the artist and into the divine, just like we sense the building of the light as we move back and coming forward to us. And in that New England transcendentalism, there was a sense of that the manifest in the divine, meaning everything in existence is part of a unified divine whole. And this aligns closely with the definition of pantheism that we'll talk about in a particular form of it, mystical pantheism. It also reminds me of a statement from the Rosicrucian Code of Life, which I'll give you resources from, but I know many of you are following it daily. Item 15, consider nature as being the most beautiful sanctuary, an expression of divine perfection on earth. Respect life in all its forms and look upon animals as conscious and sensitive beings and not as mere living things. So with this inspiration of Tatterskill Clove, the work of the Hudson River School, and Harriet Canny Peel's inspiration of the divine within her and her own experience of pantheism, Let us turn inward now for a period of meditation. We'll have even more of an experience of the divine pantheism and mystical pantheism. So at this time, I invite you, close your eyes, and then just concentrate for a little while on the gentle rhythm of your breath. And with the incoming of the breath, you may wish to sense that tremendous light we sensed in the painting that was before us. Increasing sense of the divine within. And you may wish to breathe a little more deeper than usual. And as you exhale your breath, you may wish to extend it a little longer than usual. Automatically bring about the relaxation response, the stimulation of the great vagus nerve that we study in our weekly monographs. It's part of the great working of the nervous system. Just like we saw that beautiful work of art, of nature. So the human body, known as the Holy Temple to Rosicrucian, is a wondrous work of nature and a meeting of the infinite plane and the finite plane. Viewed with life and with wisdom and the one universal soul that the New England Transcendentalists speak of it, as do the Rosicrucians. Just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. Part of the mastery of life is the mastery of the breath. It's that profound, it's that enriching. Through our Rosicrucian lessons, we know increasingly about the breath and its effects. With the incoming of the breath, in comes the VLF, the vital life force. The experiences of enriching tingling, often starting in the extremities of our body, the toes, the fingers. It's very enriching, very healing. And with that outgoing of breath, especially when you extend it, you feel the deeper calmness, tranquility, serenity, which are crucial for the healing process, the making whole. Just enjoy these wondrous, exhilarating actions that are special prerogative and privilege to work with, and never to be underestimated. These and many more wonders we come into as students on the mystical path, and as we're about to ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Applied in a way the law of purification, prepare ourselves for the ascent. We'll apply the instructions, the key Rosicrucian meditation booklet, Liber 777. I'll give you resources on later. Applying the law of purification through the breath and through the following prayer and invocation, I invite you now to say with me. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum in a tune of pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now, friars and sorors and participants, I invite you now to begin the ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum. You may wish to use all your inner imaginative faculties and psychic capacity. Yes, to psychically project to the center of the cosmos, the center of your being. Picture yourself now rising up from your dwelling or office space or building, enjoying the ascent as we move faster and faster. Seeing below your neighborhood, surrounding streets or geographic area, up over your town or city or geographic locale. radiating love and well-being back to all sentient beings below. Enjoying the ascent, rising faster and faster and feeling the exhilaration that is our birthright. This is a joyous and solemn occasion at once, and let us continue upward. Seeing down below the landforms and waterforms that you're used to seeing in your area, locale, be they desert or mountains or hills, forests, farms, lakefronts or seascapes, whatever it is, rivers, just continue to rise up higher and higher. So you see down below you your state or province. Let us rise higher and higher again and take in the entirety of your great nation or country. And as we continue to ascend faster and faster, take in now your continent and the hemisphere where you dwell. And now the entire beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the oblate spheroid, rotating about its axis. I see the great satellite, the moon, revolving about the earth in these paralleling motions. And let's continue to rise higher and higher, faster than the speed of light, seeing the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star, the various planets moving in their elliptical orbits. Let us pass out from the great reaches of our solar system, its vastness, past the myriad stars and rogue planets and asteroids, the various stellar phenomena, quasars, the pulsars, black holes helping balance the universe. Let's continue to rise past nebulae and stars, the rich vastness and great harmony of it, sensing increasingly the phenomena of the cosmic keyboard spoken of the Rosicrucians, the great sea of vibrations forming a wondrous music that art back on earth seeks to imitate. Let's continue through the vastness of the Milky Way galaxy and sense the great arms of the galaxy. And let us pass out even now from the Milky Way galaxy and its spiraling arms and look back at its wondrous beauty and look up at the myriad stars and galaxies and clusters of galaxies, even clusters of galaxies that astronomers and astrophysicists call superclusters. Let us speed by them way beyond the speed of light, enjoying the exhilaration and applying the law of correspondence. As above, so below. For as we go out into the vastness of the cosmos, by parallel action, mirroring action, we go deeper and deeper within ourselves to the presence of the divine within, and indeed increasingly experience the sense of pantheism, the sense of the cosmic that Rosicrucians speak of as the cosmos imbued by the universal intelligence and all natural and spiritual laws that we learn in our weekly monographs and learn how to apply through the Rosicrucian exercises that we're doing now. Let us continue to rise with great speed and velocity, enjoying the music of the cosmos, the harmony of the spheres. And in the distance, sense a great cosmic axis of which there's a stupendous rotation of the entire universe about. Sense that rotation now and feel the exhilaration, the great power and action, mirroring the tremendous action and power of the divine within us, and sensing that divine imbued throughout the cosmos, one great pantheistic conception. And as you come closer and closer to that great cosmic axis center point, its midpoint, gradually slow up and dwell there a while. The center of the cosmos, the center of your being, feeling the universal intelligence imbued in all things, an expanded conception, what the Rosicrucians refer to as mystical pantheism. And let us apply now further the instructions of the Rosicrucian booklet, Liber 777. You may wish to picture now, at the heights of the celestial sanctum, the center of your being, at this high point of consciousness, your personal sacred space, maybe an inspiring temple back on earth, or maybe some sacred grove or sacred place in nature back on Earth, or more, or possibly simply the stupendous, enriching view of the temple of the cosmos all about you now. Fill in the sights and sounds and all the psychic impressions of it. Build up your visualization. Sense the presence of other seekers and those on the conference call with us now. The Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Officers of the Rosicrucian Order Amor may be conducting a special convocation and ritual at the heights of your celestial sanctum. Visible and invisible masters. Fill in all the sights and sounds and inner psychic impressions. Feel the exhilaration of being at this high point of consciousness, just as we felt the exhilaration of the ascent here. And when you're ready, release your visualization and dwell in stillness and in peace profound. And feel whatever there is to feel. Indeed, feel all there is to feel. Let go and be receptive now. If you find your mind wandering, just leveling gently, bring it back to the discipline of the breath. Feel the vibrations, your special celestial sanctum, your sacred space, the center of your being, the presence of the divine within. Just increasingly surrender. Let go. Whatever we need to deal with in charging our duties and mission in life, I assure you will come back to more competent, more ready, novel thoughts, an integrated mind, all the more ready for this great adventure on the mystical path. Enjoy the deepening and enriching silence together. The increasing presence of our true nature, the master within, the inner self, the divine within. Feel all there is to feel. Now, for adders and sorors and participants, let us continue our meditation. We're undertaking a further spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amor. Let us send metaphysical aid. Let us join with the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, or Grand Lodge, the Rosicrucian Order Amor. Let us send love and well-being to all those who petitioned our Grand Lodge for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those who petitioned our affiliate bodies for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those we know who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Let us radiate love and well-being like a great floodlight going out from our mind and our hearts. The assistance of the divine within, let it flow out, filling the cosmos. And let our mind expand out with that flow of love and well-being. Become one with the cosmic mind. And feel the healing reaching those in need. Illuminating the entire cosmos. The cosmic mind imbued in it all in one pantheistic whole. Within and beyond the physical manifestations. Just let the love and well-being flow. Fill the cosmos for all those in need. Fulfilling the law of service and the law of cosmic attunement simultaneously. And enjoy the exhilaration of the flow. And at a certain point, I think you'll find the divine mind will take over entirely, divine within entirely. And no conscious effort is no longer needed outwardly for the flow to continue. When that occurs, just continue to be the cosmic mind. The experiences the cosmic mind experiences now. Let's continue to let go, let the flow of radiations of love and well-being continue. Soon we'll formally close this period of sending a metaphysical aid, but we'll continue our meditation a while longer. To formally conclude this work of the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, this period of metaphysical aid, I invite you to say with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Let us continue to meditate a while longer. The center of our being, the center of the cosmos. At one with the divine mind, the cosmic mind. Soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Before we do so, we may wish this be a prayer of gratitude for this opportunity to be of service, to further fulfill our mission in life. We may wish to invoke the law of gratitude, expressing our thanks to all those who have taught us well, to all those who have loved us well, to all those who have sacrificed well on our behalf, now and always. Now let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, moving with great rapidity way beyond the speed of light, past the superclusters of galaxies, the clusters of galaxies, the galaxies in their myriad forms, the vastness of space, the myriad stars and stellar phenomena, sensing the great cosmic web connecting all the stars. And look in the distance for the beautiful spiraling galaxy that is our home, the Milky Way galaxy. As we come to it, let us plunge in to it, past the myriad stars and the black holes balancing the universe, sensing the universal intelligence back of the cosmic, past asteroids and comets and rogue planets. See in the distance the beautiful elliptical orbits, the planets of our home, the solar system, the great fiery ball of the sun, the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, rotating about its axis. And let's return back to the hemisphere where we left off, the continent, the great nation or country, province or state. Before we conclude, I invite you to say with me the following prayer invocation. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. For our sourers and participants, let us continue to ascend on our town or city or geographic area, our neighborhood, our home dwelling or office or building, the room where we left off, however we're situated, seated or lying down or otherwise. Feeling remade, rejuvenated, recharged, rested, all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Handbook, today and always. All the more ready to discharge our duties and the great sense of adventure on the mystical path and fulfill our mission in life. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, continuing this state of the cosmic consciousness, imbued in all forms of consciousness, including our outer objective consciousness and subjective consciousness. Great, thank you, everyone. Now we'll continue our presentation on mystical pantheism. By way of definition of the word pantheism, then we'll elaborate into the term mystical pantheism. One definition you may be familiar with is that the doctrine that God is a transcendent reality, or the divine is a transcendent reality, of which the material universe and human beings are manifestations. Now, there's various forms of pantheism. Some involve a denial of the divine having a personality, and that it expresses its tendency to identify the divine or God with nature. Now, in this, we have to also bear in mind, if many think of pantheism as the divine being nature, Within that, one has to say, well, what do we mean by nature? Because you'll see over the centuries and in different parts of the world, there have been different conception of what nature is. It's interesting, for example, in the Western world, in the ancient period, the medieval period, the Renaissance period, they had a highly expansive conception of nature, way beyond what we typically have today, or popularly held. Even though one may think, but today we have such a great sense of vastness of the cosmos that we've learned and major developed in the past several hundred years in astronomy and astrophysics that we applied in our ascent to the celestial sanctum. That's true. But during Renaissance period and earlier, there was also the conception of nature being not only the physical, material manifestation, but all of existence, material and supermaterial, beyond the material. So one can bear that and when identifying divine with nature, can lose that expansive conception of nature as well. Now, it's also true sometimes pantheism is used to mean polytheism. And even there, care has to be taken, because in many traditions of polytheisms, there's stories of many deities. But in exploring and understanding them further, for example, I know from speaking with Hindu priests that often pointed out to me that the multiple deities of Hinduism are but are varying aspects or expressions of the one Godhead, or the one divine, often associated with Brahma. So by pantheism, in our particular reference today, we're not referring to polytheism as in multiple gods, unless possibly you mean that expression that they're ultimately expressions of the one unified divine. Now, also in this regard, we can think of this term pantheism. It's actually a relatively recent in history. First recorded around 1700, 1710 in the Common Era. And you can think, I know you're thinking of the etymology or derivations of words or origins. We have pan to mean, of course, about or encompassing. But we also have in there theism in reference to the divine or of God or gods. And the term pantheism is also viewed as a philosophical theory or theological or mystical theory. God or divine is immanent and identical with the universe. The doctrine that the divine is everything and everything is in the divine. Often people have implications of it as the worship of nature, or in a weakened sense, love of nature. But again, it depends on the conception of the divine, how expansive that pantheism is in that sense. There's also another term that was coined around 1874, and I'll give you an article in the Rosicrucian Digest that refers to it, and it's panentheism. So it's P-A-N like pantheism, but then it's E-N, and then theism, panentheism. And it's often defined as the theory or view that God encompasses and interpenetrates the universe, but at the same time is greater and beyond it. But in a way, often that's the way pantheism is used. And certainly that's part of what I'll describe further as mystical pantheism. It's interesting in this regard, and I'll give you some articles from the Rosicrucian Digest, but it's something that we cover directly and indirectly in the Rosicrucian monographs. It's something that past imperator Ralph M. Lewis often spoke about. And in describing the conception of mystical pantheism, he mentions there's the conception that the cosmic mind places the divine or the universal intelligence within all beings. And we looked to no one place for the divine. It exists everywhere about us as a spirit or power by which everything exists. Whatever we do is cosmic in part. And so in the appreciation of that beautiful artwork or appreciation of nature, appreciation of the beauty of another person, appreciation of the virtues, appreciation of the cosmos, appreciation of psychic impressions, all of these things are imbued with the divine intelligence, referred to as the cosmic, the universal intelligence back of the cosmos. And in mystical pantheism, it's the most expansive form of pantheism that is that nature is imbued entirely in this divine intelligence, that there is the human soul can be viewed as an individuation of the one soul, the universal soul that we experienced in our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum, and increasingly have with us as we as the momentum of meditation. And that individuation of the universal soul is thus an emanation of divinity itself. It's a reflection of the divinity's omnipotence, all powerfulness, or also its omnipresence, always all present in all things and beyond all things, and omniscience, all knowing. And these are things that we come into through our passing through the various stages of the Rosicrucian teachings, and our initiations and degrees. And this omniscience is something that we tap into in meditation. For one of the reasons to ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum, go deep within ourselves, we need to ask a question that is not readily answered by any ways of looking up on the web or in an encyclopedia or something we've known or taught. We have those infinite resources and omniscience of the divine within to gather knowledge and wisdom. It's also part of what's commonly referred to as the wisdom of the body. I see psychologists and physiologists and only mystics use that term, is that intelligence in the body is part of that pantheistic understanding. And so the mystical pantheism is that most expansive conception of pantheism. But again, I underline that pantheism, even before those terms were coined in the past several hundred years, was well known by mystics down through the ages in Africa, in Asia, Europe, the Americas, Australia, and all throughout the continents. And there's various forms of pantheism. I invite you, you may wish to look up the term in an encyclopedia and see the rich expression in a way that reminds me of one of the persons I was involved with in doing meditation earlier years. He said something I always remember many years ago about how, there's various philosophies or viewpoints we may not find resonate with us or particularly agree with. Find in each one, there'll be various clues, there'll be various aspects that we can build to have a more expansive understanding. And that's part and parcel of the Rosicrucian universal expression and understanding of mystical pantheism. Something important in this is that we need to be encouraging to others and respect them, whatever their viewpoint on these matters, whether they think the divine exists or not. This reminds me in an earlier Rosicrucian code of life, I'll quote you on this. Never permit yourself to enter discussions of other persons' religious beliefs, except to point out the soundness, goodness, possible benefits of certain doctrines, and thereby show them the good that exists in all religions. Hold not your religious thoughts as superior. Speak well of them if need be. Point out how they serve you, but do not create in the mind of others the thought that they are in sin or error because of their beliefs. That religion is best for each, which enables one to understand God and the divine's mysterious ways. And I mentioned this in regard to mystical pantheism in our Department of Instruction session today on the Rosicrucian teachings, is that the Rosicrucian Order Amorc is not a religion, but through the deep understanding of mystical laws and principles, some that we applied in our Heights of the Celestial Sanctum and some I explicitly mentioned, they allow us to have a deeper understanding of all things, including the deepest spirituality and the core mysticism that is in religion and beyond any religion. And as one of my professors I mentioned years ago, he said that the etymology of the word religion means to relink. And that is what we're always doing as we're maturing and growing up and having a greater and greater sense of the mystical pantheist conception of the divine in all things. But even in that, take what his viewpoint is, seems right for you on the matter of divinity, whether it exists or not, and how it expresses to you and what's right for you. You know, the declarations of what is deemed superior or what is correct are not helpful. We need to be encouraging and respectful. And each person is encouraged to come to their own conception of the divine, whether in agreement with its existence or not. Fundamental emphasis is on what we have experienced, what you have experienced, what is real to us, what we are sensing to be of a much greater conception, and what we are moving toward or into. Now, sometimes we have been only exposed to the definitions of the divine that we find quite unsatisfactory. And then we may jump to the conclusion that the divine doesn't exist. I found in very earlier years, in speaking with a particular Christian minister, he was asking about my conception of the divine. And he said something very helpful that, you know, belief in God can depend on what our conception of it is. And as we get more expansive understanding of it, then it can seem like, yes, there is something to this. But first and foremost is our experience and our deeper expression of it, particularly through meditation experiences. Indeed, in the Rosicrucian tradition helps lead us into the experience of cosmic consciousness, the consciousness of the cosmic, that universal intelligence back of the cosmos, not as a thought of a belief, but as a full understanding of its knowledge, its tremendous love, the all-knowingness, and we increasingly identify with it in oneness with it, which is truly mysticism. Then we come into a much more expanded conception of the divine for ourselves and can be the living embodiment and radiance of that. Now, it's true in a way, our conception of these matters is very personal. And also speaking of the personal, person may wish to conceive the divine as a person or personal being. If they wish to do well, that's to be completely respected and can point out the value of that understanding. Indeed, a mystic may have a conversation with God or the divine. I know Dr. H. Spencer Lewis, the past imperator, spoke of doing so. And I've done so myself, and I know many of you have as well. And to laugh and share sadness or joy with God or the divine. And here the subjective mind is clothing impressions in a way that can be readily interpreted as personal, even though we may conceive of the source as beyond personhood, and is impersonal and universal. But again, whatever we find is right for ourselves, that is what is best in these matters. Now, at this time, I'll ask Karen to post in the chat, paste the resources for you, and also a PDF document of those resources if you wish to look into them, along with the wonderful weekly lessons of the Rosicrucians and study in our home sanctum. Thank you, Karen. Well, by way of conclusion, I'd like to mention that it's through the experience of cosmic consciousness and such exercises, meditation, that we learn in our weekly teachings of the Rosicrucians, that we come into a greater conception of the universal intelligence, the divine, and can assess what it is and what it is not. And such experiences provide an all-embracing conception of the divine, an access to all knowledge, indeed, a contact with all things and all beings. And this expanding comprehension and realization of the divine and universal intelligence is unique to each of us in our own quest on the mystical path and growing up. And one of the conceptions pertaining to the divine that can be extremely helpful to the aspiring to consider is that of mystical pantheism. And we've examined this concept, its firsthand experience, our meditation, and its relevance to our evolvement and mystical journey. In this matter, we've continued to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. Thank you, everyone. I'll give you a moment to get the resources if you wish them. I think you'll find most easily a downloading of the PDF document. And this time I'll ask Karen, allow you to unmute. If you'd like to ask a question, feel free to raise your hand and we'll then ask you to come forward to speak to us. But if you wish, just raise your hand and we'll have an opportunity to share your thoughts. And we can be succinct so we can speak to as many people as possible. But thank you so much. It's great to be with you and learning. At this time, can you come forward and unmute and speak with us?
Yes, good evening. How you doing,
Hi,
Brother Hugh?
great to be with you.
My question to you, is there something like mono-pantheism?
There's monotheism, but typically I've heard the expression mono-pantheism in the sense that pantheism already has built in it the conception of the one entirety, divine unity in it. Have you heard that term, mono-pantheism?
No, but I
I
was
think you
thinking
just hear
maybe,
monotheism.
well, because I know about monotheism, but I also believe in
Yes,
pantheism.
yes. Well, pantheism encompasses monotheism, and we know from the traditional history of the Rosicrucians the concept that through the royal figures of Ti and Nefertiti and Akhenaten in ancient Egypt, there was the introduction more widely to the world of monotheism that was known through the mystery schools. But yeah, thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
And you come forward and unmute and speak with us.
Hello, how are you guys?
Great to be with you.
Yeah, of course. So my question was, out of all the links that you provided, what
Yes.
is the best to like, I don't know if they're still gonna be there by the time this um by the time this session is over. So I don't know like which link is the best just to get started on.
Oh, okay. Well, I can mention too that on YouTube, there's a Rosicrucian TV. So this presentation will be recording there. And at the end of the presentation in the video, the links will be listed there as well. But for if one's wanting to get introduced to meditation, I definitely recommend the booklet Liber 777, or also our revisiting to it, because it's very found and beautiful. Certainly the link rosicrucian.org, which is sort of part of the links there, that's a great one to go to get more background on the Rosicrucian order. And I also thank Karen. Karen has put in Rosicrucian TV there, and I think she'll put in the rosicrucian.org.
She did, yeah, that's
Yeah, if you
awesome.
can get the PDF downloaded, you'll get them all at once. But I recommend the booklet Liber 777. It's very, very particularly valuable because it stresses the practical application of the mystical teachings of the Rosicrucians and the mastery of life, but also where to get more information. Chair, thank you for your inquiry.
Okay, and did you say Libra 777?
Yeah, LIBER 777. So you'll see it near the top of the chat. Was pasted in the chat.
Oh, got you. All right. And also I was just wondering, uh, if there were any other events that weren't listed on Meetup.
Oh yes, there are ones at the Rosicrucian.org, Rosicrucian.org website. You'll
I'll
find that
find everything
there's
there.
a link there for events, and some are for
Okay.
you need to be a student of the Rosicrucian, but some are open to the public as well. There's various ones coming up. You'll see for this Saturday to do with the winter solstice. So have a look for that. Yeah.
Awesome. And do you happen to know if those are free? Just because I'm
Yes,
kind
they
of booked
are.
right
And
now.
some of these are Zoom events. So the Rosicrucian Symposium coming up on Saturday, that no charge, and you can come into it like this the Zoom session today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've got can come forward and unmute.
Yes. And I'm so
Great.
happy here. Thank you so much. Every Wednesday, I look forward to joining in if I can. On this subject, it's just fascinating to me. I've always been interested in comparative religion, and I really am interested in Hinduism. I study it quite a bit. I study the Bhagavad Gita. And of course, all of the different gods and goddesses, as you said, are avatars of the one. And my guru Maharaji would say that God, guru or teacher, God, guru, and self are one. Self with
Yes.
the
Yes, very much so. We had at the conception of the divine within or the master within. It's our true nature. It connects us to all, and it is truly one with the one. As yes, thank you.
And thank you. Then thanks for this class.
Do you want to come forward and unmute? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I
Hi.
got it. Hi, Hugh. One of the questions I had was, is harmonious living the same as mastery of life?
Yes,
Because,
it is.
or is it a way to get to mastery of life?
Yes, well, they're one and the same. The Rosicrucians have the beautiful term harmonium, or harmony used in the technical sense that harmony within our body, and so well-being, the physical health, but also harmony in our mind, in our psychic faculties, in our emotions, and harmony in our relations with all, through the environment, with people, and that's the mastery of life. So master, not in the sense of in a harsh control of something, but in a receptivity and harmonious way of living. Thank you. And we have some more time for any comments or questions you want to might wish to come forward with. And feel free to head out whatever you do, and thank you so much for all that you're doing, seen and unseen, and for the well-being of all. Please come forward and speak with us.
Good evening, Father Hugh. Could we
Hi.
conclude that from the studies that the divine is not a person, but has personalness about it, because we sense and we feel? What are your thoughts?
I think it's for each person to ultimately decide what's right for them. Certainly the conception through mystical pantheism is that the conception of the divine is beyond the person, but it can have a sense of expression, of flow with the outer impressions of the mind, can sense it in a personal way. Also, I can say sometimes one hasn't had a deep experience or at least recognize one's had a deep experience of the master within the divine. It can almost seem like it's a separate personality, and yet it's just more an expanded conception of ourself. But if a person particularly wants to view the divine or God as a person, we can. And one doesn't have that view, one can fully respect that and see the value it does for them. Mystical perspective tends to go beyond personhood, the personal, and yet can still have a personal relationship through that clothing or dampening down the higher rates of vibration of the cosmic keyboard into the seeming personal for the subjective mind that's used to things in a more personal way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or okay.
Yes, thank you very much. I have a question. These recent months or years that are coming in my mind doesn't have to do with the pantheism, certainly directly, but I know that, they teach us about the karma. We come on this earth for a mission, and also we come to pay for what we did in our former lives. I sometimes ask myself, then why is it that God didn't leave us there with him and we live just in harmony and peace, instead of coming, having to struggle in this life, So this is there an explanation why we don't just stay like living in God, in divine, and then not
Yeah.
suffering? So that's something.
That's a great question. It's a central question. And yes, there is an explanation. Most fundamentally, like the experience of cosmic consciousness, it's something to fully, deeply fathom is through that expansive consciousness of the divine. But certainly it's something that's covered in the Rosicrucian teachings and also in the allied organization, the traditional Martinist order teachings. And one conception that's helpful for the outer mind to fathom this is that in a way, there's a traditional expression as the human moves towards the divine moves towards the human. And that also that in the divine, to have a conception or of be able to reflect on itself, the humanity and expressions of life assist the divine in that. And that's part of this great movement or great culmination, this great realization and consciousness that's part of the purpose for humanity to realize the divine is helping the divine realize itself, as unusual as that sounds, Ibrahim. But also read between the lines on this through your deepest experiences in meditation as well. And it's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And may I ask a second question also? Thank you.
Yes, and then yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I know, people come on Earth. Now, the question is there a number of beings from the beginning that have just to come and reincarnate, or does God continue to multiply himself, to spread himself, and then the number of the people on Earth is augmenting, or there is a set number that was there from the beginning that is coming and going back, some of course becoming masters and coming just to give compassion, not for paying karma. So I want to know whether is there a fixed number from, or it can change, it still multiply.
Wow, it's a great question. Ultimately, in a certain sense, time is an illusion. Time and space are an illusion, and that all time is now. So in a way, the number is known for all time, but there is at the same time that capacity is the expression or manifestation to allow new segments of the universal soul to be incarnated and have a soul, what the Rosicrucians call a soul personality, to grow and evolve. So there is known for all time that, but there is still at the same time in this expansive conception, the capacity to express in time, to add and submit. Thank you, Rim, for that question.
So it is when I join the Martinism that I can learn more about that. Is that what you're suggesting?
And the Rosicrucians. Yes.
Also, okay, certain level.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And maybe we'll do one more comment or question. I see.
I wanted to ask if your thought that we're already as individuals expressing some sort of divine perfection within us, but maybe we're not fully aware of it, or
Yes.
is there a time that we will become fully aware of it in this lifetime? What are your thoughts?
Yes, in this lifetime, and some of the Rosicrucians also cover the doctrine of reincarnation, that each person can decide if it's makes sense to them, but and under it there would be the further opportunities, but if needed. But there's a sense in the Rosicrucian tradition that there's the one universal soul that, and we have the human soul that's we express as an individuation of that one undivided universal soul. But in what is evolving is what Rosicrucians call the soul personality. You can think of it somewhat like the metaphor, a mirror that we're dusting off or cleaning off, but more and more represent the universal soul, our connection with the divine, and will more fully express the divine. That is why we